Hello and welcome to the Alex Wanders Around a Junkyard for a few more minutes because we're back on Car Mechanic Simulator, and this is by far and away the most interesting place for me to be visiting. We're on the quest for a Mazda. We found a Mazda, the quest has been successful. Well, that's a... The quest for the Mazda didn't really go on for as long as I was expecting. That was an easy quest. That was a very easy quest. Yeah, we're going to build up a Mazda. Now, I've come to the, well, to the junkyard. I could go to the auction house and try. Is this one missing his entire engine? He's missing a lot of it. Yeah, we come to the junkyard because I actually want to, you know, have a project car. Buying stuff from the auction house, while it's a little bit quicker and easier to find a specific... Bloody hell, that was missing a lot of engine as well. It's a lot quicker and easier finding stuff at the auction house. They're all in fairly good nick, unless something has changed. And to be fair, there have been a fair few changes, as you will notice from the condition of these junkyard cars. There's been, since I last did videos, there's been a fair bit of rebalancing on both the cost of these vehicles and what comes with them, by the looks of that engine missing... well, most of it, really. Yeah, they're a lot cheaper. Likewise with the barn find cars as well. I have only looked at one barn find when I first turned the game on today. However, all of the cars were like $10,000, $12,000. There was 3 of them. They were all in very bad condition. Oh, it's only $9,000 for that Rx-7. Okay, well, that's a good fight. It is missing a lot of the engine. I mean, it's got the block. That's about it. If we can find a second one, it'd be quite cool, actually. We're going to buy this. We're going to buy this. We're going to send it back to... Yes, I do want to buy it. We're going to send it back to the garage. It would be quite cool to do a kind of donor car rebuild. If we could find another rotary engine vehicle. Now, I believe the Rx-7 and the Rx-3 in here will share most engine bits. They might have a couple of different things on them, but I'm not 100% sure. I would... I say I'd rather do it that way. We're going to have to buy a lot of parts. We're not going to be able to repair too many parts on that Rx-7. I could search through all of these junk piles again to find bits, and it'll take me many, many moons to find stuff, like a tail light, for example, that I can't fix up into any better condition, so I'm just going to buy the damn thing anyway at some point. So, yeah, I'm hoping we can... I don't even know why. Don't do it. If I start doing this, I will search for every... No, look at the floor, look at the cars, and then look at the floor again. It's the only safe way to leave me junkyard. There's nothing, is there? There's only like a couple of cars. Well, it's a happy coincidence. We managed to get the quest for the Mazda completed so very, very soon. Don't be tempted. Don't be tempted. Don't look at anything. Don't look at anything. Back to the garage then. We have our Mazda. Bits of a Mazda anyway. There's not a huge amount of car there, but we will go and start stripping the vehicle down and see what we actually are working with. Of course, the first thing to do with any project car is to, well, with any car on here at least, is to find out how much it's worth. I'm curious as to what the game will value itself. I tried to sell it, it's worth $7,600. So you can't just go and buy these vehicles and sell them. I just wanted to have a check, really, see what it would reckon. That's not the plan, because of course you're going to want to well, restore the vehicle. I say restore the vehicle, actually, you know, get the parts, maybe get it working. That'd generally be a fairly good start to get the car working. Right, so let's go and move you on to the lifter, and we'll see what we're working with. I hope we've got a decent amount of running gear, considering how little the engine is. While I think about it, the reason why we have got a random small hatchback in here is another different engine to the game I wanted to show you. This is just a customer job car. The i3 is now here that you can work on. This in particular one has a turbocharger. Not all of them do. There are some. You can tell which bits need fixing on this car. Have a guess what bits need fixing on this particular vehicle. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's just a... I say it's essentially a simplified i4, but there's another different sort of engine to work on, bits in slightly different places, slightly different parts and whatnot. It's nice to have. Shame it took so long for it to actually, you know, be in the game, but there we go. It's there. It's something else, different type of engine to play with. Likewise, why we've got this with a rotary engine to be playing with. Well, I mean, what's left of the rotary engine of that. We're not going to be able to kind of repair up much of these bits and pieces. I mean, I did say in the past it would be nice to see cars with more bits missing, and that's certainly something that has now happened, which is... yeah, it's nice to see. I think the barn find condition cars that I have stumbled across. Actually, we'll go and strip off some bits of this, and then I'll go have a look at a barn find just to show you. Yeah, like the barn find cars and whatnot that I have come across are a little bit more complete than the junkyard ones, which is kind of what you would expect to see. Which is, again, it's nice to see. Actually, it's nice to see that. You know, you will spend, of course, more money. I love how we just got a fan. We've got... Wait, hold on, have we got the... Okay, so we've got the fans, but not the how. We've got floaty fans! The magical floaty fans. Get rid of them. Yeah, the barn finds are in a little bit more complete condition. The one that I've seen than the junkyard cars, which is kind of what you would expect. Everything there is in awful, awful, awful condition. Now, can we get anything of this off? We need to get out... We have the car on the... You are on the lifter. Do we need to go from underneath to get that out? Let's get rid of the battery. Yeah, that can come out. I guess we've got to get the crankshaft out first, and then we can take off the rotors. Yeah, looks like it. Okay. We can do that one. How are we doing suspension-wise? I mean, we've got all the wheels. It looks like we've got the cross member. In fact, actually, we can have a look and see what parts we're missing. So, engine-wise, we're missing a lot of the engine bits, but we're not missing too much in the way of suspension gear. We're missing a little bit of exhaust, but nothing too terrible. Wait, what? I'm confused. You wanted... Okay, so to take that out, we've got to take out that. To get that out, we've got to get from the engine bay. And then I'm going to try to get that out, and then something else is going to go wrong. Apparently, despite... I'm not a mechanic of rotary cars. What am I missing here? Maybe I'd have to get the gearbox off first? Does it want me to take... maybe it wants me to take off... I'm not really sure what you're wanting me to take off here. Let's get rid of the driveline. Let's get rid of the gearbox. Maybe it wants me to crane the engine out. In that case, we will need to get rid. Let's do that. That sounds like a solid plan. Let's get the engine out via a crane. It might actually now want you to do engine work properly, as in, you know, take it out with a crane rather than with your bare hands from the car. Right, we can get rid of gearbox, and then we will see if I can do anything. I mean, all the clutch and guff I think can be worked on from the engine stand, unless things have changed. Let's give this a try, or will we be... not part mount, will we be Superman? So yeah, you can't seem to pick up bits on their own. Well, that's fine. We've got a crane. There's a reason why we have one, I guess. And this can move over to car lifter B. Yes, I remember which car lifter is which. Now, if we do... pull the engine out of the car, that'll put it in a nice big crate for me to carry over here. That's one way to do things. Right, add engine, that one over here. There we go. Now we should be able, oopsie, to pull everything apart or get confused by stuff when it doesn't want to get undone. Maybe this is what we need to take off first. Maybe it can be done in the car. Maybe I'm just taking stuff off in the wrong order on this engine. I'm kind of working on other... Yeah, okay. I think I'm just working on the way other engines have worked. That's what's stopping it, so we've got to get the right... Okay, I figured it out. I'm not a fool. Well, I've not worked on it before in this game. So there we go. Yes, I actually own a... it's still broken with its mounting on the stand, but never mind. I might own a rotary car, but I'm sure as hell not messing around with it. I will pay somebody to fix my car if it breaks, because I don't want to break it even worse. That's the general rule. I know a little bit about car mechanics and so on, but I don't know enough about a rotary, and it'll just make a mess of it. So I don't play with it. It's not worth the possible costs for me to mess around with it. Yeah, that's the story of my mechanicking skills. It does look like, as far as running gear goes, this car here is at least fairly complete. From what I have seen as well, while engine completion is limited, or it will vary, I haven't seen any cars that are missing wheels. I've seen cars missing lots of body panels, as you saw with this, missing large portion of the engine. I haven't seen cars missing wheels, and I would hazard a guess that you might not see cars missing much in the way of running gear. The game doesn't particularly... I mean, they'll have the odd bits missing, but the game doesn't particularly like having cars without the wheels on them. And to have the wheels on, most bits have to be attached. For the game to allow the wheels to be on the car, most bits have to be attached. So you're perhaps not going to see that, again, at the moment. Stuff may well change. I have no doubt it will, in time. And maybe you will literally be able to find just a shell of a car somewhere and work on that. As it stands at the moment, it is kind of going in the right direction, I would say. For that, certainly with this new rebalancing of well, barn finds of the junkyard cars and so on, we are getting kind of closer to I say full-on restoration, but restoration from like very, very poor states rather than the large number of nice, happy condition cars that you were finding previous. There's a wheel bearing in there. That's what was stopping me from uninstalling this. I've done this in a really weird way as well. I've kind of half-assed done the front, and now I'm doing... Don't ask. Don't ask. It's all in pretty awful condition anyway. I'm hopefully going to be able to repair some of it up. I mean, things like the Oops, well, we're back at the front now. Oh, we're... God's sake. Good old FailRace misclicks, and we're now apparently doing this wheel, because I'm over this side now. It's all got to come off one way or another, and seeing as we're here, it might as well be done and got rid of and taken apart, and then frantically hope that... Oopsie, wheel bearing. Frantically hope that we can repair at least some of it, so it doesn't cost a huge amount of money. Now, this is one of the many ways to make money in this game. I've talked about it in previous episodes. There are considerably more actually now in Car Mechanic Simulator 18. XP-wise, though, it's not really worth very much. For every bit you remove, for every bit you put on a car, I believe you gain a single XP point. Yeah, in fact, it does seem to be doing that. For every job you complete is 100. You can complete very quick, easy jobs, like the job we have going on next to us with the hatchback. That'll take me a minute, if that, to do, and I'll get 100 XP for that. It will take me a lot longer than a minute to take off 100 parts from this car. So yeah, XP is still needing a little bit of tweaking. I would say if you want to try and get, I'm trying to get to level 35 is really where things happen. 30 is at least where you can restore body frames of cars, and that is a long old bloody way off. That's a long way off. It's going to take a lot of time to manage to do that through lazy jobs, essentially. Most of these parts, while they are in god-awful condition, I am thankfully going to be able to say that they are coming off in just good enough condition that I can repair them. Admittedly, not that fuel tank. I think it was 15% is the magical number I've heard around that repairable parts can be repaired at. So, for example, that brake caliper, I think, is pretty buggered. But the cylinder thing inside of it, that's probably okay to try and be repaired. We will get this corner of the vehicle sorted. And we might go and explore a barn. I haven't found a Mazda barn yet. I would like to find a Mazda. I'll be very happy finding a Mazda barn. Get rid of these bits. I mean, the back of the car is perhaps slightly... these bits are becoming off in... they look slightly better condition. See, there was like a 38... Admittedly, the rear suspension arm was surprisingly more broken than the amount of rust entailed. But... I think it's 6%. What is the worst condition part has come off this car? I'm curious. I wasn't paying enough attention, so I don't actually know if any of these are winning the contest for worst condition part. But 6% so far is the worst. The rear crossmember looks pretty bad. I'm going to be honest. It looks pretty wrecked. So that might be a contender. Be a shame if that was, because I could do with it being repaired, because it's expensive. And we will get rid of you as well, and voila, it's... Oh, that's a painfully broken part. That is basically the car stripped down. Much easier to strip down cars where there is so little in the way of parts on them. Very quick engine teardown, because there's nothing of the engine really left. Let's go and jump on the repair table, and we will. One of the engine bits was at 30-something%. I'm pretty sure we broke the first bit we tried to repair there, but we will spam through here. Gearbox was fixed. Rotor housings have been fixed. Yeah, there's no real quick way to do this, I'm afraid. Can we get... Oh, we repaired the clip. Of course, I forgot the clips. The most important things imaginable to be repaired. We have repaired them. That's good. I've got various other bits of guff left over from the junker, and oh god. Well, some bits got repaired in all of that. The front suspension bits were done. I think most of the engine that we had, apart from the rear. The gearbox was done. One of the engine bits, I think, is done. Now, they have added a new, very useful button. The sell junk button. Unfortunately, that's not sold... Well... I don't know what condition parts it counts as junk, because it's not sold, well, a fair bit of stuff there. It has helped remove some of the crap from my inventory, but, yeah, not all of it. Well, okay, that's going to be a mess that'll take a long old time for me to clear out. The Mazda is, though, completely and utterly stripped down. We're going to go to a barn find, just to see what there is and have a look at prices. Have I potentially found Mazda Heaven? Spin the camera. Nope. Nope, we have found the Typhoon? Typhoon, I believe, is the name of the car. There we go. 25,000, that's actually relatively on the expensive side. But admittedly, it's probably a more valuable car to begin with. You can see, though, the engines are now not nice and shiny. The engines are not nice and shiny anymore whatsoever. Likewise, you know, with this one, I don't know how much it is going to cost. 17 grand. There you go. The 4-star one that I bought from the auction house was in the 30-odd thousand. So the body condition in the cars aren't too bad. But yeah, we've got another thing over here. We've got a Pumobile. A fairly rusty Pumobile. But there we go. You want 16,000 for that car. Yeah, like the I think we need a radiator fan housing B, so I might grab that while I'm here. We've actually found something useful in a barn. It's really rare. We are going to need a steering wheel for our car, because it didn't come with one. You know what? We'll grab it. I think I can repair steering wheels? No, I can't repair steering wheels. Bugger. You can go back. Don't care about you. We'll grab another gearbox. Never have too many gearboxes. Especially not with the way that my cars get treated. Always a good idea to carry spares. None of you are... I'm not expecting to find anything really useful in here. Honestly, there's not likely to be much of much stuff. It's just that there's not much in the junk pile, certainly in comparison to the big old barn finds. You just don't... barn finds, the junkyard. You just don't find... It's sheer numbers. It's just a numbers game. There is less per... That's a very peculiar gearbox. Gearbox BV6B without a picture, I would imagine might be an upgraded gearbox for that car. There we go. I also didn't know there were two types of V6s. I haven't seen the second type. The V6B is the one in the Clio V6. I haven't seen a V6 in anything else. So either that's something heading our way or something that I've just not come across. It could be either. Could be either, to be honest. Well, nothing there. A little bit, I say a little bit of an unsuccessful one. We might go to another one, just because I'm liking the lucky dip and hope for Mazda Heaven. Well, this particular barn seems to have belonged to a sign thief. Can I take these? Can I buy these and just litter my workshop with them? We will decorate the workshop. Is there... Oh, wow. You were not an interesting person. You stole signposts and had a boring car. I'm going to hazard a guess there's not going to be much interesting in here. Like, I want to know where these people... Like, that's the car that they have. It's actually mostly complete. I'll give them that much. It is mostly complete there. Why do they have, like, they have the window from a Clio V6, they have a door from a big SUV, they have a headlight from a small SUV, and they have an air filter cover from a classic V8. Like, I guess they could just be a Hornet. That might explain the signs. I guess that does kind of make sense in some ways. It does kind of make... They've got the boot from a SL... I think the GTR is the SLS look-alike. This has been a terribly, terribly uninteresting... uninteresting barn find. I apologise. I say I apologise. It's always the... It's always fun to go exploring these, because, yeah, you genuinely do not know what you might end up with. Just sometimes you get uninspiring guff. And this is quite the uninspiring guff capital of Car Mechanic Simulator. And very bright uninspiring guff. Now, I don't want to end a video on, well, uninspiring guff. I like that phrase. So we've come to another barn find in the hope for at least a better ending. A better, more exciting... That's a very purple car. Okay, it's a better, more exciting barn find. I'm happy now. You've got to have some excitement. You've got to have some excitement to at least finish a video with. That is a really... I approve. Whoever's garage this is, I approve. I like your choice in bright colour. I might not agree with them, but I like your choice in them. Is that... It is! I might have to buy this. This is the first vehicle to see the implementation of a supercharger. The Bolt Reptilia R2, there is now a supercharged version. I don't think you can install a supercharger onto the engine normally to turn a normal Reptilia into a supercharged version, but we've got a bright purple supercharged machine. That is the sort of thing that you want to end a video on. Shall we continue? I see the last person was not the most interesting collector of vehicles. This guy, though, look at the colours in... Look at that. It's brilliant. It's the brightest of green I think a car has ever been sold in. You know, be brave with the colours of your car. Don't have boring, dull, the same as everyone else. Have something purple. We're buying that. And it's got a supercharger. It reckons it'll have 600 horsepower near enough when it's finished. Yes, I want you. You can go to the garage now. Or go for a bright green one. I mean, the blue colour is, I guess, a little bit more standard. Still quite a nice blue colour. So yes, I approve of whoever's barn find I might have stumbled across here. I know my real-life car is fairly standard Mazda blue for now, but that is a for now, because I do plan to make it very orange, relatively-ish, soon. There's going to be nothing interesting in here, is there, really? I think I've already looked through that one about 4 times. Let's search through the palette. We will search somehow in that toolbox. There is the front window from a BMW Z4, and an entire wheel. I think we've found the TARDIS in Junkyard form. Anyway, I don't know. There's probably plenty. I mean, you can kind of understand there being a tyre maybe fitting in there with an intercooler. Maybe. It's a very big maybe. Anyway, let's go back and have a look at our supercharged purple mobile. Well, it may have cost a little bit more to buy. However, it doesn't look too terrible. I mean, most of the engine bits are at least here. We might be able to recover them. I was curious to see whether this would have an intercooler, because there's a small and a medium. I haven't seen a large intercooler, but that doesn't mean there isn't one. I have seen them around the place. I was curious to see if we might see some. I guess intercooler more likely for turbo cars, but something different on here aside from just simply a use for the supercharger. Nevertheless, it is very nice to see this as now an option for vehicles outside of kind of modding stuff in. We've kind of been distracted from what was a quest for a Mazda by a supercharged Corvette. Kind of sorry, also not really. Not really. I like both. I like both a lot, actually. So there we go. I'm burning through all of my money at the moment, but we will rebuild this. That's what we're supposed to be focusing on. We'll rebuild this. We'll then probably work on the Corvette. Maybe we'll work on them in tandem. Maybe we'll find something. Who knows? Maybe we'll scavenge around the junkyard and find stuff for cars. And yeah, at one point I'll be able to repair the body frames on these so we can actually get to 100% repairing. It's going to be a while off because I need to get to level 30 before I can do that, which is a shame. But yeah, we shall see. That though is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.